Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an EBR Hotchkiss. It's a Tier 7 French light wheeled vehicle. It's vermin. Yes, I'm afraid so. And it's being driven by Filipperino. Yes, I'm afraid most Arty players now regard the wheelies as a cruel joke by Wargaming to deprive Arty players of a decent game. Well, he's auto-aimed onto that AMD's 178B who's determined to commit suicide. And he's trying to lock on, but even he is having difficulty trying to get shots on that AMD. And takes him out of the game, but he was spotted, so he's going to have to pull away. Otherwise, there will be an Arty round inbound this direction. And he's also spotted an AMX 1357, and rounds were coming this direction. Well, the gun is a 75mm, 170 alpha, penetrating 160mm of armour. But I think we all regard this vehicle really should not be in the game. In fact, all wheelies should be out of the game, mainly because they break the game. When these vehicles were first built, they were actually supposed to be reconnaissance vehicles. They're supposed to find the enemy, not shoot at them, find the enemy and then report back. They were only supposed to engage other wheeled vehicles if they had a numerical superiority or a technical superiority. And they were used extensively during the desert campaign, but they weren't supposed to be used against tanks. And this is why it's a real mistake by Wargaming to include them. And in fact, actually, the problem is that they originally said that they weren't actually going to be in the game. Wargaming were very reluctant to actually let them go into the game at all originally, but I think somebody persuaded them that maybe it'd be a good idea to put wheelies in the game because then they would counter Arty. Well, Filipperino's having a good game so far in this EBR. He's actually driving backwards, but that's so he can get a faster acceleration, I should think. Actually, the thing drives well either way, actually. I must admit, I did remember hearing a while back that Victor was asked a long while ago when they would put wheeled vehicles into the game, and of course he said they would never be in the game. But of course they did get put into the game, and yeah, they're doing things like this. They're coming up to light tracked tanks and they're absolutely devastating them, and this is breaking the game. Because even the light tanks can't really counter them. They have a great deal of difficulty dialing in on these targets. I mean, he's basically trolling this team at the moment. He's taking out the Arty. That's what they were put in the game to do, to get rid of the Arty. But the problem is that they're actually taking out tanks, and they shouldn't be doing that. I know I may be having a rant, but you have to give me this rant, because on this occasion, this proves my point. You see, Filipperino's making monkeys out of these guys. Literally. And these tanks, they've got absolutely no answer for what he's doing to them. And he takes out the Jackson, who's behind the Churchill 7, seeking cover. And he goes to the engine bay of the Churchill. And this Churchill, what can he do? He's now being assaulted by two tanks at the same time. And that's it, the game's over. Now, you tell me that the game's not broken when you see something like that. It is broken, well and truly. So let's have a look at the end of battle stats. Well, we did this game for Filipperino because it's Filipperino. And he got an ace tanker in the Hotchkiss EBR. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he ended up with 8. He got a fighter badge because he managed to get at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly, and a 5 for effect as well. But he also picked up a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on the team. And he picked up the High Caliber. When did you last see wheeled vehicles running around the battlefield killing heavy tanks. Never. In fact, actually, even the instance of St. Vith is considered potentially questionable, because many people question, could an M8 Greyhound actually come up behind a Tiger tank and take it out? The gun surely couldn't even penetrate the armour. But according to the Americans and the after-action reports, it supposedly did. But you try taking on the armour of a tank when it's firing at the wrong part of the tank, and it would be, the wheeled vehicle would be history. It would be blown to smithereens with the first shot. And this is why the game is completely broken. These things should not be in the game at all. So despite the fact that Filipperino did very well, we will be cutting back on the number of games we see of these vehicles. Filipperino managed to get 3,562 hit points of damage. Nobody else managed to get over 2,000 hit points, and the nearest one was the T-3485M, who got 1,556. When it came to kills, he got the highest number of kills, 4, but that proves that he is a very good Unicum. And the next high scorer was the Nashorn, the Poodle, and the T-3485, all with 2 kills, so he got double their score. And when it came to base XP, 1,396 for Filipperino. Nobody else managed to get over 1,000 base experience points. 772 for the T-3485M, 656 for the AMX-12 Dun. He fired 28 rounds, got 23 direct hits and 19 penetrations, 3 splash, damage of 3,562 hit points, of which 565 were at more than 300 meters. Received 4 hits from the enemy. All 3 were penetration. 3 were penetration, not all 4, all 3. 1 non-penetration. Now, all of the shots should have gone through, because basically anything hitting a wheeled vehicle would absolutely tear it to shreds, because the armour on those vehicles was negligible. In fact, it was only designed to stop bullets from machine guns and infantry. It wasn't designed to stop a round from a tank. 7 enemy vehicles spotted, 10 enemy vehicles damaged, 4 killed, and 906 hit points of spotting assist. On a free player count, he earned 36,990 credits. And after repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables, and that's where he got hurt, because he actually spent 40,000 on consumables. He actually ended up with a big loss of 13,197 credits. But he did earn 136 base XP, times 2 for the first victory, got 698 from personal munitions payout, and took away 3,490 altogether. So yes, he does say that this is a decent game, but I'm afraid everyone else's game was ruined by the fact that wheelies were in it. And really, people say nowadays, oh, it's bad if there's 3 Arty in the game. No, it's bad if there's 1 wheelie in the game. A wheelie breaks the game completely, because you get vehicles doing things that they really shouldn't be doing on the battlefield at all. I think most people could cope with just 2 Arty in the game. I think that even the Arty players would be happy with 2 Artys in the game. Of course, it would mean there'd be more games with 2 Artys in if you stopped having 3 Artys in a game. But and you'd have much fewer games with no Arty at all if there was only 2 Arty. But if you ask for only 1 Arty in each game, then virtually every game would have an Arty in, at least 1, and that would mean that you would never ever get the possibility of playing a game without Arty and being able to be Arty free. So you have to take your choices there. Do you want 1 Arty in a game, or do you want 2 Arty and the possibility of playing without Arty at all? It's something to consider. But well done to Filipperino for getting an ace. Not so good that it happens to be in a wheeled vehicle. I know he's probably working his way up the tech tree on the wheeled vehicles. Unfortunately, they get progressively worse as you make your way up. The EBR 90 and, of course, the EBR 105 are real terrors for tanks, heavy tanks. They can do devastating things, and of course they can run away before the enemy can actually do anything about it. Terribly difficult to hit. So, yes, Wargaming, Victor, get rid of these things, please. They are breaking the game. They are destroying the game, and they really shouldn't be in it at all. Thanks for watching.